This is another piece for the Church Planters Conference I attended last week. This one is based on the key verse for the week, 1 Corinthians 3:6. See, the Apostle Paul was writing to his church in Corinth to straighten a few things out. The people were building camps. They were playing a silly game of my leader is better than your leader. Some were saying I follow Paul's teachings, while others were saying, oh yeah, well I follow Apollos, who was another leader in the church. Paul's frustration comes in that they were both leaders in the same movement trying to go in the same direction. This dispute was showing that the church had their focus in the wrong place. What's Paul's response? He says, what after all is Apollos and what is Paul? Only servants through whom you came to believe, as the Lord assigned to each his task. I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God made it grow. Sometimes I think we also get our focus in the wrong place. And as a result, we take something that does not belong to us. You see, I see a lot of ministry folks and Christians in general who feel like they're under tremendous pressure to make things happen. We want to see lives change. We want to see people come to follow Jesus. We want to see churches grow and on and on and on. So we push ourselves harder and harder, and we try to do more and more and more to make that happen. When we do this, we're not so much different than those believers in Corinth. We take the focus off of God and put it on ourselves, and when we do that, the pressure starts to build. If that's you, I have good news. The pressure is off. You see, we're not the whole picture. Paul planted the seed and Apollos watered it. In other words, Paul had his job to do, and so did Apollos. Neither Paul nor Apollos was responsible for growth. Their job was to be faithful, to do their part of the process. Growth was up to God. If we could realize that we operate in similar conditions, a lot of pressure would leave our lives as well. Think about it. If we're faithful to do what we're called to do and trust the rest to God, then our success comes in faithful service, not in numbers. We do our part and God does His, and when it succeeds, we give glory to where it belongs in the first place, which is God. That's not only appropriate, but it strips us of the destructive pride that makes us think we did it all ourselves. If we did it ourselves, then it takes our strength to maintain it, and none of us is that strong. So the pressure builds. If it's your job to plant, plant faithfully. If it's your job to water, then water it just right. And in the midst of the whole thing, pray and trust God. He will make it grow. The pressure is off. You can depend on God, and when you do, you'll realize it doesn't all depend on you.